What's more, he didn't lie. There are many types of potions for Olelai, but Li Yiming has never tried to find out, so he doesn't know if there is a potion for restoring vitality. However, it is easy to solve the negative factors brought about by stripes. The opening of the stripes requires a body temperature of 39 degrees and a heartbeat of more than 200, so it will cause a great burden on the body, but it will also obtain a very strong physical fitness. This is very similar to the second gear of a straw hat rubber boy, but as long as the basic physical fitness increases and the body can fully withstand the strength of the stripes, the loss of turning on the stripes will be within the tolerable range, and the body can completely repair itself. Not only that, but the increase brought by the time pattern will also become greater. Of course, this has nothing to do with Li Yiming, who has no side effects from turning on the markings, and he doesn't need to care about these problems at all. Ask for flowers. But for others, this is undoubtedly a life-saving straw. Even Kamato Tanjiro and Yubayashiki Yoya, who were indifferent to life and death, couldn't help being moved at this time. I see. My guess is indeed correct. Mr. Li Yiming, you are indeed a messenger sent by the gods to save ordinary people like us. Ah, you want to say that, it seems that there is nothing wrong with it. Li Yiming nodded slightly stiffly, reluctantly responded. My lord, I think you can try it, if it can really cure your illness, and if you can let Mr. Zayaman survive successfully, then everything is worth it. Butterfly Jenny took the lead in expressing her opinion. Of course she also had some small thoughts. If possible, she would like to go to the capital of the gods with Li Yiming. It would be great if Yayashiki's disease can be cured during this period. Namo Amitabha, my lord, I also agree with Huazu's opinion. That's right, the capital of the gods will definitely be very gorgeous, I really want to see it. The persuasion ringing in their ears one after another made Yubayashiki and Tanjiro Kamato make a decision in their hearts. It doesn't look like there's a way to retire so early. Ah, since there is a way to continue living, then whether it's for myself, or for Koizi and the children, I have to try it. The two made decisions one after another, and then there were hearty smiles on their faces. Also smiling was Li Yiming. Ding! It was detected that all of Ghost Dance Tsuji's party died, the settlement requirement has been met, and the settlement is in progress. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting an S+ rating. Yubayashiki is alive, Tanjiro Zaman is alive, and Zongju is alive. You will get a customs clearance reward. In my mind, the long-lost system notification sounded suddenly. Hearing the content inside, Li Yiming seemed a little surprised. So, are there two other settlement methods? One is the destruction of Oni Wutsuji Musei, and the other is the destruction of the ghost-killing team, or the destruction of the whole world. Or, there is a hidden ending, destroy the ghosts and the ghost-killing team, and then rule the world by yourself? There are countless doubts in my heart, but there is no way to confirm it now. After all, this real-life time travel simulation has ended, which means that the Ghost Slayer blade cannot be confirmed. Included in the traversal simulation. So it seems that this kind of conjecture can only be tested in the next simulated world. In that case, then Mr. Ji Yiming, please take us to the capital of the gods. After making a decision, Yubayashiki will not continue to hesitate. In addition, he also wanted to see if it was possible to find the possibility of settling the children of the ghost-killing squad in another world. Of course, no problem, you are welcome. After a brief discussion about going to Orari, almost all the staff agreed. However, that was only a few days later. As for now, the ghost-killing squad still had a lot of things to deal with, at least they had to wait for these things to settle down before letting go. Since there was still plenty of time, a banquet was held early the next morning to celebrate the defeat of Anime Tsuji Mumi and his final victory. During this period, Li Yiming was naturally drunk a lot, and he enjoyed it. As a result, a large number of people were poured to the ground, and even he himself was a little groggy, and finally returned to his room with the support of Butterfly Connie. Between. Tisk, you really can't drink too much wine, it's really a bit high. Without the basic ability value provided by bravery, Li Yiming's physical fitness is not as explosive as imagined, and now he can barely stay awake, which has reached his limit. As for why he hasn't fallen asleep yet, of course it's because a very important thing is supporting him. Let me take a look, what's in the customs clearance rewards. With the thought, the white light curtain of the system appeared. In the personal backpack, there is an unattractive bag in the second grid, which does not look like anything special, but since it is rewarded by the S+ evaluation. In any case, Daxia should be the first to think about it. Silently mobilizing his thoughts, he opened the reward bag. Boom! A crisp sound was clearly heard, and then the items inside also emerged. A golden sacred key, a card that resembles a sword, and a machine that looks very familiar. Key of the Realm Gate, the owner, Li Yiming, can freely open the world gate to the world of Demon Slayer, Blade, and can carry anyone or any object through, and the world time flow is synchronized 1. Jian Xi and Tongming, Ji Guo Yuanyi, the talent of swordsmanship from Ji Guo Yuanyi. Decomposer, the owner, Li Yiming, can disassemble weapons and equipment, and there may be unexpected gains. 10,000. Chapter 79. Good things come in pairs. Lord Shangshen, I have a friend. Monthly ticket plus subscription required. Key of the Realm Gate, the owner, Li Yiming, can freely open the world gate to the world of Demon Slayer, Blade, and can carry anyone or any object through, and the world time flow is synchronized 1. Jian Xi and Tongming, Ji Guo Yuanyi, the talent of swordsmanship from Ji Guo Yuanyi. Decomposer, the owner, Li Yiming, can disassemble weapons and equipment, and there may be unexpected gains. How should I put it? It's richer than expected, but not that rich either. Staring at the reward in front of him in a daze, Li Yiming made a concise evaluation. But no matter what, these 3 rewards are all available now. The key of the world gate can open the door to the 2 different worlds of Demon Slayer and Orari, so that you can lead the Demon Slayer team. The people who go to Orario can also let the people of Orari enter this world. The decomposition machine probably came from the continent of Arad, and it is also very useful for blacksmiths. As for the biggest gain, it is Ji Kuyuanyi's talent for swordsmanship. The sword heart is clear. Ji Kuyuan 1 is the strongest in the world of Demon Slayer, Blade. How powerful is his kendo talent? Holding the sword for the first time, he was able to defeat the country's specialized swordsmanship instructor. Facing the powerful ghost Wu Tsuji, he said that the opponent was terrible, and at the same time killed the boss with a single blow. He was able to slash a full 1,500 knives in a short period of time. Even in his dying years, he was still able to slash Heisamu into serious injuries. He was such a legendary man. If you put him in the world of One Piece, who is the number 1 swordsman in the world, but it is not certain. The same talent in him, no matter what, is at least orange, that is, the human body and the rules of the world limit his strength, but Ji Kuyuanyi is still a well-deserved sword master. Although there is no reward for immediately increasing strength, it is already very good, and I am very satisfied. I hope that the next time I travel through the simulated world, there will be some abilities that interest me in 5 or 6 and can greatly increase my strength. Whispering softly, Li Yiming slowly closed his eyes and gradually fell asleep. The next day, he still got up early, full of energy as before. Yesterday's hangover did not affect his state in the slightest. In fact, the same is true for the rest of the Ghost Slayer squad swordsmen. Under the command of Yoya Yubayashiki, many members began to deal with the follow-up in an orderly manner. Without the pressure brought by Oni Wutsuji and the ghosts, everyone is obviously more relaxed and comfortable, and the front-line ghost-slaying swordsmen are now also joining the work of hidden. With everyone's concerted efforts, all the wounded were completely stabilized within a few days. The Demon Slayer squad doesn't need to be disbanded for the time being. Yabayashiki probably also briefly explained his future plans to all the members. The people below have their own opinions. Members who look forward to a stable life do not plan to travel to another world. They even hope to find a small town where 3 or 5 friends gather together to live an ordinary life, and then meet the right opposite s*x, have children, and finish this life. In this regard, Yabayashiki did not dissuade, but distributed a large amount of resettlement fees to each member who wanted to leave, as a thank you for their efforts in these years. At the same time, it also promised that if there are any difficulties in the future, you can come to ask for help at any time. As for the rest of the people, they are naturally willing to stay in the Demon Slayer squad and accompany Yabayashiki's confidants. They are also looking forward to going to the capital of the gods. However, at least so far, ordinary members of the ghost-killing team should be unlikely. It is worth mentioning that Zushi and Yashiro also took the medicine to turn back into human beings, and after killing Animatsuji, they had nothing left to ask for. Maybe Zushi wanted to leave this sad place, but Zushi was willing to follow her to Olele. Li Yiming really didn't expect this point, but he would not refuse. At least Zushi's talent in medicine can be said to be very good. Even if he is not good at fighting, he is very suitable for the recruitment of the Faith family. Standard. Of course, Riche needs the nod of Goddess Faith in person. Everything has been dealt with, and I have also stayed in the world of Ghost Slayer, Blade World for several months. Although Olele only passed for an hour, Li Yiming's experience is real. After such a long time, I really miss Olele's life a little bit. Everyone, are you all ready? Are you sure that only these people are going with you now? In the courtyard of the Yabayashiki mansion, Li Yiming looked around at the people in front of him. All of them were familiar faces: Yabayashiki, Butterfly Kani, Butterfly Shinobi, Kurihana Kaneo, Tsuyoshi, Yashiro, Zaemon Tanjiro, Kamato Tanjiro, Kamato Nezuko, Yuzui Tenjin, and Iguro Kobachi. There are only so many people in the first batch, and the others are left behind to be responsible for the management of the ghost-killing squad. After Olele stabilizes, maybe they will go there one after another, but it will be a long time later, and I am afraid that Li Yiming will have become an adventurer in the first echelon of Olele. After all, having the means to travel to other worlds is not a good thing. Especially for some good gods, this will undoubtedly arouse their interest even more, so for the time being, only small batches of people can be brought to Olele. And it needs to be instructed in detail, otherwise it will be very troublesome if it is exposed. Fortunately, Yabayashiki and the others expressed their understanding and told everyone that they would never reveal their backgrounds to others. Mr. Li Yiming, there are only so many people going for the time being, please excuse me. No trouble, since there is no problem, I'm going to start now, but please remember my words, although the gods of Olele have sealed their own power, their personalities are completely different. So don't take the initiative to mention their respective origins. Li Yiming's serious words made everyone nod seriously. Seeing that everyone seemed to understand, he didn't hesitate anymore. With a thought, the key of the gate of the world was activated, and a gate emitting golden light slowly emerged, and then fell steadily to the ground. Let's go to the center of the world, where gods, heroes, and monsters gather together. After the words fell, Li Yiming plunged into the golden portal and disappeared in front of everyone first. Seeing this, the others no longer hesitated, led by Butterfly Genie, entered the golden portal one after another, and then the portal disappeared completely. There was only a group of guys who could only secretly envy because they needed to take care of the ghost-killing squad. With a flash of light, Li Yiming and others appeared in a room. The magic stone lamp that provided lighting on the wall shone with a faint halo. In the familiar environment, Li Yiming recognized at a glance that this was his room in the residence of the Hetos family. It is almost the same as when we left. The only difference is that there are many more people in the room. The originally not too big room seemed a little crowded due to the increase in the number of people, but fortunately, it was barely able to accommodate everyone. So is there a fixed place to return? It's more convenient to return to where I left before. At least I don't have to worry about throwing me directly into the deep layer of the dungeon when I come back. Very satisfied with the key of the gate, Li Yiming let out a long sigh of relief. Finally came back. Before he could relax completely, a mechanical sound suddenly sounded in his mind again. Real-time travel simulation ends, reward. The final settlement is completed, you survived the simulation for 3.5 months, but you can still get rewards due to customs clearance, and the final evaluation is SE. You can choose 3 from the following rewards. Green talent God of Cooking, Purple talent Spearmanship Genius, Blue talent Breath Lock, Improved Cyan Bianhua seeds that can be cultivated artificially, Complete Mimicry. Is there actually another round of rewards? The mechanical notification sound of the system surprised Li Yiming too much, so the previous one was the reward for clearing the level, and now this is the reward for ending the time-traveling simulation. Double rewards are too delicious. It's a pity that almost all the wool in the world of Ghost Slayer, Blade has been scooped up, and the rewards are relatively mediocre. The breath-locking effect is not bad. Giwutsuji used it to escape before, so that he could find the trace of the other party. The chef can increase his cooking talent. Spear Genius is the only purple talent. Although Li Yiming is not knowing how to shoot a gun doesn't mean you won't learn it in the future. After all, what saber can't kill Lancer after she puts on the gun? As for the blue Bianhua seeds, the herb that can make Giwa see the weakness of the sun must have more effects, and maybe it can be used to create some special potions. The last one, Full Mimicry, probably came from Oni Wutsuji Wumi, the ability used to hide himself on weekdays. The ability to freely change various structures of the body, including but not limited to appearance, gender, smell, etc., can be perfectly reproduced as long as it has been seen by the naked eye. This is one of the great skills to become an assassin, it's so convenient to use it for sneak attacks. In the same way, if you become a certain man, then sneak into the other person's house, and do some ghostly things. Heck, this is also possible. The 5 rewards are uneven, but all have their own advantages and disadvantages. Li Yiming once again fell into the difficulty of choosing. It would be great if there was an option called Take Them All. Unfortunately, system, I choose. Ding, the reward selection is successful, the purple talent Spearmanship Genius is automatically changed to a skill, the skill level is given to B according to the talent strength, attacking the host gets Spearmanship B, Perfect Mimicry is automatically changed to Magic, and the effect remains unchanged. In the blink of an eye, Li Yiming had another skill and magic. It stands to reason that when he was bestowed with favor, he only had 1 magic bar, which was already occupied by the Mole of Love, but now he has 1 more magic. If other adventurers find out about this, they will definitely go crazy with envy. It's a pity that it is probably impossible for anyone except the goddess Hetos to know about this matter. I have gained a further improvement, and I may need to practice spear skills in the future. The brainstorming between the electric light and the flint did not delay for too long. When Li Yiming withdrew his attention from the white screen in front of him, everyone around him had already looked at his room, and this similar architectural style brought some inexplicable familiarity. Even in this strange world, it seems that it is not as bad as imagined. Yiming, have we arrived at Orari? Butterfly Connie asked curiously. Li Yiming nodded slightly, and responded with a smile, this is Olele, and the place where you are now is in the residence of the Faith family of Faith, and it is also in my room. If you want to see the world, I probably have to wait until tomorrow to have a chance, and it is still night. It's amazing, so we should now. What should I do? Do you need to pay a visit to God? When saying this, Yabayashiki was obviously a little excited. He is just an ordinary person, and now the opportunity to meet the gods is in front of him. It is difficult for ordinary people to keep calm, especially for him who is married to a priest. Well, let me think about it first. Li Yiming scratched his head lightly, with a slight hesitation on his face. At the beginning, I pulled everyone here in a flash of brain fever, and I didn't think about how to report this matter to Goddess Faith. Now it's a little troublesome. He obviously didn't see anyone entering Faith's family, but suddenly so many people came out of his room. No matter how he thought about it, he felt very strange. But things have come to this, and there is no other way, right? No way. Then let's go to visit Lord Shangshen together. She should agree to let you join the Faith familiars. If it is not possible, there are still the rest of the family members can be recommended, so you don't have to worry about this problem at all. No, we have never worried about these things. We are just hesitating about what kind of posture we should use to visit Lord Faith later. That's right, the thought of seeing a god makes me inexplicably terrified. Amitba. Beiminjiao Xingming, who had already taken off the uniform of the Ghost Slayer squad, had no pupils in his white eyes, but still shed tears and silently recited scriptures. Hearing this sentence, Li Yiming couldn't help laughing. It was exactly the same as when he first came to Olele. If it wasn't for the memory of his previous life, maybe he would behave even more unbearably. Actually, there is no need to be so restrained. Lord Shangshen is very easygoing, and he is not a difficult character at all. If you want you to have enough respect, then the adults will definitely not embarrass you. Okay, the specific situation will be known after everyone sees Goddess Hitos. Let's go. After the voice fell, Li Yiming opened the door first and walked out of the room. The long aisle was still empty, which undoubtedly made him relieved. At least he didn't need to explain the current situation. It's not too late now, Goddess Faith should not be resting yet. Passing through the room where the members of the family lived, Li Yiming led a group of people and continued to walk in. At a place that no one noticed, a pair of eyes suddenly turned outward through the crack of the door. On the face of it, that's the new child that Faith found before, with so many 5.4 people at such a late hour, seems to want to find Faith. Could it be? Here we are, this is Lord Shangshen's room, let's go. The voice became very soft. Li Yiming took a deep breath, stepped forward 2 steps and knocked on the door. After a while, the voice of Goddess Faith came from inside. The door is open, come in. Hearing this sentence, Li Yiming unscrewed the door and only poked his head in. Goddess Faith, who was still dressed in her usual clothes, was sitting on the head of the bed, holding a book in her hand. When the door opened, her gaze was already looking this way. It seems that Goddess Faith is going to sleep. It's Yiming, what's the matter so late? The red-haired goddess showed a gentle smile. Ah! There is indeed something wrong, Lord Shangshen. I am really sorry to disturb you so late, but because the matter is urgent, I am very sorry. Li Yiming smiled awkwardly, then leaned halfway in. As if reading something from his face, Faith closed the book, came to Li Yiming's side from the bed, and asked suspiciously, what is so urgent? I have a few friends with special backgrounds. They just came to Olele and wanted to join the family as adventurers. After thinking about it, I brought them here without authorization. Yes, I'm really sorry, the main reason is that the origin is really special, so it's such a small thing. Faith couldn't help chuckling. It's no big deal, since it's Yiming your friend, I believe it must be credible. Even though I can't guarantee that I will be able to accept them, it's okay to meet them, so let them come in first. Really? Thank you, Lord God. Li Yiming breathed a sigh of relief, and then opened the door. My Lord God has given permission, let's all come in. Chapter 80. A goddess appeared halfway. Scoundrel Hestia. Thanks for the monthly pass of Envy Mandarin Ducks and Not Envy Immortals. In her faith's room, the atmosphere became extremely dull. The red-haired goddess, who is usually very gentle, looked at the people in front of her with burning eyes, especially when she stayed on Li Yiming for an extra long time, and she didn't know what to say anymore. After a while, she seemed to barely regain her senses. Yiming, are you sure you're not joking? Are they really humans from other worlds? Although she was still asking questions, in fact, Faith had already believed Li Yiming's words, and she didn't feel that the other party was lying, which already explained the answer. But even so, Goddess Faith still asked again, which was obviously unbelievable. However, Li Yiming's serious nodding appearance shattered all the last expectations in her heart. Lord Kamamai, Mr. Yubayashiki and the others are indeed people from another world. I also entered that world tonight. I have gone through untold hardships before successfully returning, and then I have the qualifications to enter and exit another world. I just want to the family needs people, so I brought them back. Avoiding the most important thing and saying what can be said, Li Yiming didn't lie at all. Therefore, Goddess Faith didn't feel the slightest difference, her expression was a little dull, her right hand covered her slightly opened lips, her mood was very complicated. This is simply extraordinary. Only now did she realize that she had underestimated the potential of the child in front of her. Even the gods in the heavens couldn't do it, but as a human being, he could easily accomplish it. Is the potential of the people of the lower world really so terrifying? Even the gods can't compare with it. This kind of gap and expectation is really too much to stop. Really, Yiming, you always bring me all kinds of surprises and frights. Goddess Hitos, who barely recovered her strength, sounded reproachful, but the expression on her face did not mean to blame. Sorry, Lord Shangshen, I made my own decisions. No, that's not the reason. In fact, I was quite excited when I heard the news. After all, this is something that even us gods can't do, but you can do it. Sure enough, Yiming, you will definitely be able to do it in the future. Become the best hero, even surpassing all previous heroes. Words of incomparable certainty were uttered from the mouth of Goddess Faith. 19 This time, Li Yiming did not refute. Since they are children from other worlds, and they were brought back by you, Yiming, they must be some excellent children. You are welcome to join the Faith family of Hetos. The red-haired goddess showed a gentle and friendly smile to Yumayashiki and the others. Master Shangshen, it is a serious word. It is our honor to be able to join you. A group of people responded in a panic, and their voices were obviously very respectful. However, everyone was obviously very excited to have the permission of Goddess Hitos. Taking a panoramic view of everyone's expressions, Goddess Hitos also nodded slightly. Although she doesn't have the eyes of God like Freya, but as a goddess, she still has a basic vision of seeing people, and she can feel that these children in front of her are very pure and good people. There are a few of them with good strength, and they are indeed some high-quality talents, so it is not a bad idea to recruit them into the Ji family. However, Yiming, there is one thing I need to remind you. Regarding your ability to travel to other worlds, you must never use it in front of people you don't trust. Do you understand what I mean? When she said this, the expression on the face of Goddess Faith was very serious. The main thing is to travel to other worlds, which has a very terrifying temptation for the gods who are too idle to fade out. It is difficult to predict what they will do in order to travel to other worlds. Maybe, the god who coveted Li Yiming's existence might become unscrupulous. What a hassle. Well, forget it, if it really comes to that time, let's think about a solution. Goddess Faith shook her head, her expression became serious again, then, everyone takes off their clothes one by one, and sits down. Come on the chair, who will come first? Everyone looked at each other, and pushed Yoyomiyashiki out in a tacit understanding. In this regard, Yoya Yabayashiki did not refuse. But before he took off his coat, an accident happened suddenly. Bridge bean sack, wait for me. The door was suddenly pushed open from the outside, and a petite figure suddenly rushed in. Because the force used was too great, the car couldn't stop for a while, and fell to the ground directly, and the whole person slid face to face. It took a long distance to stop. The figure slid almost all the way to Li Yiming's feet. Looking at the familiar costume and twin ponytails, he quickly recognized the other party's identity, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching crazily at the actions of the goddess. The face of the gods, Hestia should be the first person. Hestia, you weren't eavesdropping outside just now, were you? Looking at the figure on the ground, Goddess Faith's movements froze immediately, and she stared at this unreliable god friend in front of her with a dark face. Apart from helplessness, there was also deep annoyance on her face. I really indulged this guy too much, and dared to do such things as eavesdropping. It's fine in normal times, but today such an important matter was heard by Hestia. This guy is famous for his big mouth. If Li Yiming's secret is leaked out, at that time, not only the latter will be coveted, but even the Faith family will be affected. Even though they are now one of the top artisan families, if they are targeted by all the families of Olalai, they will collapse quite quickly. So, now we need to think about how to solve this matter. Hey, Faith Toss, I really didn't mean it, it's just that I accidentally saw Mr. Yiming coming to you with so many people. I thought it was a new child, so I was a little anxious, who I know you guys would talk about such an important thing. But don't worry, I haven't heard anything, and I won't tell the story if I hear it. Hestia hurriedly raised her right hand to swear, but her eyes scanned Li Yiming's body intentionally or unintentionally. This kind of small action that she thought was very concealed fell into the eyes of everyone. This undoubtedly made her Faith even more angry. The red-haired goddess strode forward, pinched Hestia's cheeks with both hands, and lifted her directly from the ground. As a goddess of forging, although her divine power is sealed, but because she has been forging for a long time, her power is also very huge, which is not comparable to that of Hestia. The latter couldn't break free at all, and could only mutter and beg for mercy. It's a pity that even her mouth was squeezed together, and no one could hear what she was saying clearly. He, since you have heard such an important matter, even if you are my close god friend, there is nothing you can do about it. I will work hard to give it back so that no one will leak this news. I am really sorry, Hestia, I am also forced to do nothing. If you want to blame it, blame you for hearing something you shouldn't hear. Goddess Hestia let out a sinister laugh, and her words were so realistic that Hestia believed the statement immediately, and the lowly goddess immediately began to struggle crazily. However, no matter how hard she tried, it was all in vain. He could only watch Hestia getting closer and closer, and Hestia almost cried out of fright. Boom! Accompanied by the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground, Hestia fell to the ground, using both hands and feet, tumbling and crawling to hide behind Li Yiming, looking at Hestia in panic. Feeling the slightly trembling body on the arm and the soft touch from time to time, Li Yiming suddenly sighed helplessly. My lord, please don't scare God Hestia. Humph, it was obviously a very normal dissuasion, but Faith Tas glared at him. Really, for Yiming's sake, I will forgive you for the time being, but Hestia, you will definitely not accept this matter. Can't say it, if you don't do it, then the relationship between us will cease to exist. Serious expression, deep eyes, indifferent tone. Everything is being told, and Faith is not kidding. Hestia, who had never seen the scene before, obviously realized the seriousness of the matter, lowered her head like a child who did something wrong, and muttered softly, I see, it's my fault, don't worry, Faith Tas, I will not leak the matter of Mr. Yiming. Then let's just trust you, so what do you want to rush in all of a sudden? Ah, it's all because you scared me, Faith, and made me forget the business. It was obvious that the limelight had just passed, and Hestia regained that carefree personality again, but after receiving Faith's stare like a steel needle, she became honest for an instant. Goddess slowly began to answer questions honestly. Then what, Faith Toss, your family is already so powerful, it is already one of the best artisan families in Olalai, and you don't need so many newcomers, right? You see, I don't even have a family now. Let these children join my family. Don't worry, I will treat them well and manage the family seriously. As if afraid that Hestia would not believe it, Hestia quickly patted her chest, causing the ground to shake, but her voice was also full of confidence. But as soon as these words came out, her Faith's face turned dark again. Sure enough, I shouldn't forgive this guy, it's really shameless. She regards Hestia as a close friend of God, but this guy actually regards herself as a vengeful seed, directly poaching the wall in front of her. This kind of behavior will make the two gods become sworn enemies. It's really smug enough, you guy, it's better to return you. Don't say such horrible words in such a serious manner, Faith Toss, you also know that I have just descended to the realm not long ago, and the current Orally family is saturated. Which adventurer is willing to join the family of gods like me? Ah, I also want to be self-reliant, but I can't do it. As soon as this boring topic was mentioned, Hestia's emotions suddenly became out of control. The god who is obviously very holy is rolling back and forth on the ground like a rascal at this moment, complaining aggrievedly about what happened to him before. It really hurts the listener and sheds tears when he hears it. Hestia did find adventurers at the beginning and asked them if they wanted to join her family. But there is no doubt that after knowing that it is a new family member, they were all rejected without hesitation. The dungeon is very dangerous. The main god doesn't have very good abilities, and there is no strong senior adventurer to lead him. The probability of newcomer adventurers being dog-led is as high as 80%. And those senior adventurers are not willing to serve as tool people, so they have lived here until now. Come to think of it, Hestia, as the goddess of the stove and the home, cannot teach her family. Cook, there is absolutely no way to help in this regard. For it. Yoya Yabayashiki and the others, who saw this scene for the first time, looked at each other in embarrassment, with very strange expressions. It always feels completely different from the image of the gods they imagined. Obviously, the appearance looks extremely holy, beautiful, natural, and majestic, and the intimacy like the incarnation of nature rushes to the face, which makes people yearn for it. But it is such an existence, rolling on the ground at this moment, that image is instantly broken. Okay. UBD, get up from the ground quickly. How long are you going to be ashamed in front of these children? Looking at Hestia's actions, Faith caressed her forehead with a helpless expression on her face, so she just couldn't handle this guy. Herdos, just promise me. We are the best god friends, aren't we? If you need help with anything in the future, I will definitely help you. Ugh. Having said all this, her Faith could only sigh helplessly. No way, who made this guy in front of me my best friend? Not to mention, Hestia was the only one who saw her under the blindfold and didn't feel. Laughing and scared guy. If Hestia can be matured through the establishment of the family, it seems that it is not impossible. If you mess around like this again, then I will really refuse. Nanny. Hestia, who heard this sentence, catapulted and started, and rushed to Faith in an instant. Her face was full of longing. Faith, did you really agree? Yes, who made you so rambunctious? Although she had already agreed in her heart, Faith still didn't let go of her mouth. This must be Tsundara. Great, Faith, you are my best friend, you really helped. After receiving an affirmative answer, Hestia jumped up and hugged Herdos in her arms, her cheeks rubbing against the latter's cheeks, and her joy was almost uncontrollable. This kind of intimacy made Faith quite helpless, but it was not particularly contradictory. After hugging for a while, Hestia completely calmed down. The eyes of this lowly goddess are like little stars, looking at all the people brought by Li Yiming, and seems to be choosing the right family members. Is she finally going to have kids of her own? Let's say at first, Hestia, if these children don't want to join your family, then don't blame me. It should be fine, right? I know, I'm not a god who likes to force others. For Hestia's reminder from Hetos, Hestia, who has fallen into endless fantasies about the future, obviously couldn't listen to these things. Answer. The gesture of unloading the grind and killing the donkey is not even the slightest cover-up. Sensing the helpless look in He Faith's eyes, Li Yiming could only quickly comfort him, Master Shangshen, there is no need to show such an expression, in fact, we He Faith. The Tuas family can also form alliances with other families, which is also a good thing for future development. And Lord God, you don't have many friends, and the one with the closest relationship is God Hestia. God Hestia has a pure personality, and the followers he recruits are definitely good people. Isn't it the best ally choice? If it's even possible, you can also bring in the Mihi family. By then, it won't be as weak as it is now, what do you think? Hee, you really are turning your elbows outward. He Faith, who was already a little depressed, became even more depressed after hearing this sentence, and rolled his eyes at Li Yiming angrily, what a heartless little white-eyed wolf. However, if you think about it carefully, what the other party said is not unreasonable. There is a monster in the family, and we really need to find some allies, otherwise the secret will be exposed at that time. It might be a good decision to hand over some of these outstanding children to Hestia, provided they are willing. Thinking of this, He Faith gradually thought about it. Chapter 81 Collective Hacking, a rare skill that does not cost money, thanks to the monthly pass of 1024. Yes, EA. There was a slight deviation from the plan, but there was nothing wrong with the result. To be honest, to be lucky enough to be a family member of a god, Yoya Yabayashiki, and the others already had nothing to ask for. As for whether the family members they joined were strong or not, they didn't care that much. Rather, gods like Hestia, who have just descended to the realm and have not yet established a family, are more suitable for them. The foothold, do not have to be made things difficult by the so-called predecessors. Coupled with the pure nature of the goddess Hestia, she is simply the best main god. Therefore, no one rejects this phenomenon, nor do they have the ability to reject it. Whether the gods are willing to accept you depends entirely on their personal wishes. Li Yiming can also apply, and it is not bad to develop into this appearance now. In the end, this group of newcomers was also assigned. After Goddess Faith agreed, Tanjiro Kamadu, Nezuko Kamadu, Yoya Yabayashiki, Tenjin Yuzui and Kobachi Iguro joined the Hestia Familia. As for the rest, people are all summed up in the Faith family of Faith. The combat power is completely gone to other people. Regarding this point, Li Yiming has nothing to say, he is just a guide. As for how the ghost-killing team will develop in the future, it depends on their own wishes. After all, I just killed Ghost Mitsuji and got a big favor, but it is absolutely impossible for everyone in the ghost-killing squad to repay a lifetime, not to mention that the current situation is still considered appropriate. The relationship between the two families will definitely become closer in the future. It's great, I finally have so many children. Hestia's lips were curved into a circular arc, and her eyes were already narrowed into a slit. She looked full of vitality, and that kind of smile from the heart was very contagious. Goddess Loli's blue eyes swept over everyone, and her heart was full of satisfaction. Then let's start the favor ceremony now. Which one of you will come first? Hey, Hestia, can you be more careful? Are you going to expose your child's abilities like this? Are you ready to form a family? Seeing Hestia, who was getting carried away, He Faith felt tired for a while. This kind of jumping character will definitely suffer a lot outside. What does it matter, her faith, the children in front of me are obviously very good friends, and my relationship with you, do you still guard against each other? It's not. Forget it, it's up to you. As long as she faced Hestia's shining eyes of brin-bling, Faith didn't know how to refute, but she was still quite moved in her heart. At least the troublesome little guy in front of him won't do such disgusting things. Isn't it an attitude of trust to grant favors in front of one's own face? Master Shang Shen, in fact, you don't have to worry. The world they live in is more complicated. Everyone can give their backs to each other, and even sacrifice for each other. I will never reveal half a word, so you can rest assured. Li Yiming also explained softly at the side. Oh? So that's the case? Then I'm really looking forward to it, and it seems that I can get some good story materials again. I'll trouble Yiming to explain the specifics to me later. I want to listen, so please, Yiming-kun. Hestia also echoed. No problem at all. Li Yiming nodded slightly, but did not refuse. Then let's start now, and we just have to perform the favor-giving ceremony together. Which one of you will come first? Let the Lord come first. Everyone's opinions were unanimously unanimous, the curse in his body had been healed, and only Yoya Yashiki, who was slightly weak, didn't waste the children's kindness, and his tone was still gentle. Thank you children for your humility, then from my let's get started, Lord Shang Shen. My lord? Are you still their patriarch? This very common title still made Faith and Hestia blink. It's not that they were surprised, O'Leary didn't have such a name, and only outside of O'Leary, there was still a family-like organization. It's just that the children respect me more. My name is Yoyama Yashiki, Lord Kamigami. Please give me your advice in the future. Yabayashiki Yoya was as gentle as ever, gently took off his coat, and sat on a chair beside him, revealing his smooth back. I see, then I'm going to start, Yabayashiki-kun. I'm ready, Lord Shang Shen, please rest assured to start. When he said this, Yoyama Yashiki was still a little nervous, but in front of everyone, he, the former leader of the Demon Slayer squad, still had to set an example. On the other side, Yashiro, who was also sitting on the chair, faced the same situation. I'm going to start, take it easy, the process doesn't feel too much, don't stretch your muscles so tight, it makes me look like a scourge. I'm very sorry, Lord God. As the two goddesses dripped a drop of divine blood, the blood instantly poured into the bodies of Yashiki Yoya and Yashiro, and ripples appeared as if the calm water surface was broken. Sacred characters emitting blue light emerged layer by layer like gears turning. The hands of the two goddesses are constantly moving, engraving the family logos of their respective identities on their backs. After a short while, the first granting ceremony of God's grace was completely over, and the information about the ability values of Yabayashiki and Yashiro gradually emerged. To be honest, this is the first time for Li Yiming to witness the gift of grace. It has to be said that just looking at this kind of miraculous method can involuntarily inspire people. This is the power of the gods, and it is so desirable. Yabayashiki Yoya. LV.1. Strength, 10 durability, I0 dexterity, I0 dexterity, I0 magic, I0. Development ability. Magic. Skill. Leadership temperament. Sufficient power to govern a large town. It can increase the morale of the army you lead. Dear. Gentle appearance and speaking manner can maximize the favorability of others. The way of speaking endows philosophy, which can make the sincere listeners understand and find their own future direction. Damn it! As expected of everyone's patriarch, it's really unbelievable that he has two skills. This time he really found a treasure. Looking at the parchment in her hand, Hestia's face was filled with endless joy again. Both skills can be said to be very rare. Is this a special citizen of another world? It's no worse than Orari's children. Humans are a race with infinite possibilities, which is so fascinating. Oh, that's the only thing I agree with. Faith, who was on the side, was also holding a parchment scroll with Yashiro's ability value printed on it, and his eyes were shining with unexpected brilliance. Yashiro. LV.1. Strength, 10 durability, I0 dexterity, I0 dexterity, I0 magic, IO. Development ability. Magic. I hidden. Obscuring the view of others. Make people see things that cannot be seen normally. Create visual illusions. No need to chant, but you must wear a special transmission medium. Skill. There is not much information, but possesses innate magic, and it is also innate magic possessed by human beings. It is really unbelievable, and this is definitely a talent. At this moment, her faith also became joyful in her heart. Her heart is also looking forward to what kind of surprises the next children will bring her. Li Yiming, who was making soy sauce silently, was also a little surprised at this time. Unexpectedly, Yashiro possessed magic, and it was magic with the same effect as the blood ghost technique he had before. Is it worthy of the grace of God? Even this kind of experience can be successfully captured and realized. Or, is human potential truly unpredictable? The favor-granting ceremony is still going on in an orderly manner. Since it is the first time to give God's grace, the previous basic ability value will not appear, and everything will start from zero, but your previous strength will not disappear. Basically, after the ability value is strengthened, it will be stronger than those of the same level. Adventurers are more powerful. However, since there was no blessing from the grace of God before, physical exercise was not as obvious as imagined. The following favors are bestowed, and everyone is basically the same. Kamato Tanjiro. God of Fire Kagura. Enhance basic physical ability. / can carry the terrifying solar fire. Increased damage to evil enemies. When fighting with evil enemies, the full ability is greatly increased. Zebra. Increase heart rate and oxygen supply capacity, greatly enhance combat ability. When the physical fitness cannot bear it, the vitality will be greatly consumed. Transparent world. Conceal your grudge. The ability to predict actions and dodge attacks will be greatly improved. Able to see the opponent's anatomy and weaknesses. Kamato Tanjiro. God of Fire Kagura. Enhance basic physical ability. / can carry the terrifying solar fire. Increased damage to evil enemies. When fighting with evil enemies, the full ability is greatly increased. God-given sense of smell. A keen sense of smell and improved perception of various breaths. Ability to see through weaknesses by smell. Born to die. Find the right path in difficult situations. Increase concentration according to the degree of injury. When dying, all companions around will temporarily gain the development ability Lucky. Gentle nature. Strong empathy in language and behavior. High probability of being able to influence the enemy with the mouth. After killing decisively, you can let the undead sleep peacefully through prayer. Yuzui Tianyuan. Breath of sound. Increased basic physical ability. / can be accompanied by sound waves. Spectrum. Unique combat calculation formula. It takes a certain amount of time to read the rhythm of the enemy's attack. After completion, the enemy's habits and blind spots will be fully exposed. Beast taming. High probability of domestication of animal life. The stronger the strength, the lower the probability of domestication. After the domestication is successful, the IQ, strength, and dexterity of the domesticated beast will increase. Aguro Barney. Snake's breath. Increased basic physical ability. / is meander like a snake, with dexterity. Transparent world. Conceal your grudge. The ability to predict actions and dodge attacks will be greatly improved. Able to see the opponent's body clearly. Body structure and weaknesses. Snake affinity. It can increase the favorability of snakes, and there is a high probability that they will not be attacked by snakes. Can understand snake language. All the men's favors have been endowed. Although there is no more magic, everyone has more or less a lot of skills, which is really incredible. Hestia and He-Faith didn't know what to say anymore. Are human beings with heroic qualities so worthless now? But having said that, their skills seem to be similar to yours, Yiming. Faith, who had a panoramic view of everyone's abilities, finally proposed this crucial question. In this regard, Li Yiming was already mentally prepared. He didn't mean to hide it either. In fact, my skills are indeed learned from that world, so the same skills will appear. Explain it to me later, let's all go out now. Faith looked at Li Yiming with a deep look on his face, and then waved his hand to dismiss all the men gathered in the room. The next step is to grant favors to women, and they are very inconvenient here. No one objected to this. A group of people were locked outside the door in desperation, waiting patiently for the next favor to be bestowed. Li Yiming looked at the people around him, and after a little thought, he slowly said, "Congratulations on becoming adventurers. Although the goddess Hestia has just descended from the realm not long ago, she is currently living. There are no other places, but she is indeed a very good goddess. Under her command, you will not be wronged." Ah, I have already felt that Lord Shangshen is really as innocent as a child. Yabayashiki Yoya nodded as if approving, and his mood became very relaxed. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Li Yiming. Thank you for bringing us to this magical world, and I assure you that no matter what kind of help you need in the future we will be grateful." Shui. You don't need to be so serious. Lord Shangshen and God Hestia are close god friends, aren't we friends too? It's also necessary to help each other. Call me Yiming from now on. Just fine. Then you can just call me Yaze. Well, I will teach you a lot in the future. The two held their hands lightly, with similar smiles on their faces. After chatting briefly for a while, not too long passed, the closed door was opened again, and it was Nezuko poking her head out, with a slightly green face. "Everyone come in. Let's go, don't make the two Lord Shangshen wait in a hurry." With Li Yiming taking the lead, other people naturally also entered the room one after another. Butterfly Sisters and Liwa Loxiang Nehu stood aside, with different expressions. It could be seen that they were quite satisfied with their respective abilities, or it might be the reason why they didn't show it. After all, neither Butterfly Ninja nor Huoluo Kanahu are the kind of people who reveal their true inner thoughts, so just looking at them from the outside, there is really no way to know them. Are you satisfied with your situation? However, some clues can be seen from the faces of He-Faith and Hestia. Especially the smile on He-Faith's face, and Hestia's slightly pouty mouth, can explain the problem very well. It's not fair, He-Faith. Why are two girls with healing magic joining your family? It's so unfair. Finally unable to hold back, Hestia directly chose to complain. Hearing this, the smile on Faith's face, who was a little helpless by the Lolita goddess, became even brighter. Even standing by the side, I can feel her joy. What's not fair, Hestia? Even those children were poached from me by you, and you chose them yourself. If you want to blame, you can only blame your luck. No, besides, if you are not satisfied, you can convert those children now, I don't mind. Ignoring Hestia's complaints, He-Faith even deliberately raised her eyebrows to tease her. This undoubtedly made the goddess Loli even more angry. But things have come to this point. She has already taken advantage of so many excellent family members, and the establishment of the family members is a certainty. If the entanglement continues, it will be. Some do not know what is good or bad. I don't know how to drive. That's it, so let's be content. The quarrel between the two goddesses also made Li Yiming feel inexplicably interesting. He also saw the abilities of Butterfly Chini and others, and only then did he know why Hestia reacted so strongly. Butterfly Chini. Flower breath. Increased basic physical ability. The slash comes with petals, which can produce a confusing effect to a certain extent. Chapter 82 Unexpected Magic, Nurse, and Bishop, Flowers plus subscription required. Kamado Nezuko. Blessing of the Blue Blossom. When in an abnormal state, the temporary trigger development ability abnormal resistance effect can be superimposed. The halo effect can boost morale and increase the attributes of companions to a certain extent. Chestnut Blossom Chanel. Flower breath. Increased basic physical ability. The slash comes with petals, which can produce a confusing effect to a certain extent. Divine vision. Sharp vision, improving the capture of various small motions. Action prediction, able to judge various attack forms and accuracy. So far, there are no clues. Butterfly Chanahui has only one skill, and even Li Huoluo Kanahu's panel is better than her, which makes Li Yiming frown slightly, but thinking that the other party's talent is not too outstanding, and he has not comprehended the transparent world, only the breath of flowers is also reasonable. On the contrary, Konjiko's skills were a little unexpected. Logically speaking, all the Zaemon family had consumed the blue bana flower, but she was the only one who gave birth to the skill. Is this the difference in the degree of desire? To a certain extent, Kamado Nezuko's skills are also very powerful. It may not be good at fighting alone, but it is also indispensable in a team. It's a pity that Nezuko is a member of the Hestia family. Although there is a high probability that everyone will enter the dungeon to explore together in the future, it is still a pity. But for the next few parchments, Ji Ming's eyes widened. He probably also understood why Hestia's reaction became so big. Butterfly Bear. Magic. Toxin dispels. Group healing magic. Remove the poisoning status of all allies. Physical strength and injury recovery. Skill. Insect breath. Increase basic physical ability, increase agility. Sword skills come with a large number of butterflies flying, each butterfly contains toxin. Physician. Significantly improved understanding of drugs. The success rate of drug production has been greatly improved. The effect of the manufactured medicine has been greatly improved. Zushi. Magic. Confused. The smell of blood is several times stronger. Can make the object who smells its own blood hallucinate, and apply negative effects at the same time. Can increase the basic attribute of the object that smells its own blood, and clear the negative effect. The effect increases with the increase of mana. Skill. Physician. Significantly improved understanding of drugs. The success rate of drug production has been greatly improved. The effect of the manufactured medicine has been greatly improved. Hey guy, is this a nanny and a bishop 017? Li Yiming exclaimed subconsciously, but immediately after that, he received two very unkind looks, which made his body stiffen suddenly, and his smile became embarrassing. Mr. Li Yiming, although I respect you very much, it is too impolite to call a girl like that. Zushi's voice was as cold as ever, but the voice was still full of seriousness. Li Yiming realized that he had made a slip of the tongue and begged for mercy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, it's just the custom in our place to call it this way. If you don't like it, then I will not be like this in the future. Hearing such a sincere apology, the expressions of Zhu Shi and Dai Dai Ren looked much better. When things turned around, Li Yiming subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. Now he also knows why Faith is so happy, and Hestia is unhappy. Compared with others, Butterfly Shinobu and Zhu Shi are obviously more valuable. You must know that healing adventurers are quite rare in the whole of Orario, especially the talents of all healing magic and potion production are even more scarce, but for adventurers. These two things are indispensable, and sometimes can determine the existence of fate. Healing magic can quickly revive an exhausted team while recovering from injuries. It is no exaggeration to say that a team with healing talents and a team without healing talents are completely two teams. If the difference in strength is not large, then a unilateral massacre will occur. The addition of Zushi and Butterfly Shinobi can be said to have raised the upper limit of the He Faith family. One is in charge of healing, and the other is in charge of buffs, so you don't have to worry about survival when you enter the dungeon in the future. In addition, the two are obviously very talented in medicine production. If they can make magic potions after systematic study, they can be digested internally or sold outside to make money. A commercial channel. Even if Goddess Hitos had no interest in this aspect, internal digestion is perfectly feasible. After all, potions are expensive because there are too few sources of channels. If two talents in this field can be cultivated, there will be no need to spend high prices to buy them in the future. It's amazing, Miss Zushi, Shinobu. After all, Li Yiming couldn't hold back and couldn't help admiring. The two women were slightly stunned, although they didn't know what was so great about it, but since Li Yiming and the two goddesses showed such expressions, they shouldn't be lying to them. It's great that it works. Okay, now that everyone has signed the contract, they will become a glorious adventurer in the future. Whether it is a child of my family, Bjej, or a child of Hestia's family, they must get along well in the future. Inspire more outstanding power, please cheer together. Apparently it was not the first time to do this, and her faith carried out the declaration very skillfully. The effect was also very obvious. The eyes of everyone present showed a dazzling light. After killing Gui Wutsuji Wumi, the thoughts that gradually became empty have now been filled again. Each of them already has brand new goals. Yiming, I would like to trouble you to arrange accommodation for these children. There are still many vacant rooms in the family. You know where they are. But Hestia, your family has been established now, so you should find a place for yourself from time to time. It's not a problem to rely on me all the time. Speaking of the topic here, He Faith showed helplessness on his face. Hestia, who was originally in high spirits, was startled, and could only laugh awkwardly and laugh. Then what? I will try my best to find it, give me some more time, and I will take the children to find the place that belongs to Hestia as soon as possible. Just take a look at the residence of the Ya family. I hope so. If Hestia's voice was a little firmer, maybe Hestia would really believe it. Then, I'll leave everything to you, Hinamina. Since it is the order of the Lord God, then I will definitely complete it. Congratulations, God Hestia. Li Yiming also sent his congratulations sincerely. Hey, it's all thanks to Mr. Yiming, otherwise I wouldn't be able to find such a high-quality child. If there is any need for help in the future, Mr. Yiming, just ask. As long as I can help, it is absolutely obligatory. This is a promise from a goddess, it is valid for life. Hearing this sentence, the corners of Li Yiming's mouth twitched slightly. Does Hestia have any great abilities? It doesn't seem to be so. Then how did she have the confidence to say such words that will definitely help? Sure enough, this is the so-called self-confidence. But no matter what, it is the promise of the gods anyway, and it may come in handy. I've made a note, God Hestia, if I really need it, I won't be polite to you. Li Yiming nodded with a smile. Then let's take my leave, it's getting late, and I have to send Yaze, and the others have made arrangements, so they can only be excused temporarily. Go, but remember to come back later. I am very interested in Yiming's experience with you. He Faith's faint smile always gave Ji Yiming an unfathomable sense of sight. He was a little flustered, but this was the request of his own god, and as a member of the family, he couldn't disobey it. After all, he still respected the red-haired goddess. Since the other party wants to hear, then tell them all. I see, Lord Shangshen, I will hurry back as soon as possible. Leaving a word and bowing slightly behind him, Li Yiming led everyone out of He Faith's room, leaving only He Faith and Hestia in place. Now, it's time for us to have a good chat, Hestia, about me, your family, and the future. The conversation between the two goddesses is not clear. At this time, Li Yiming personally brought the maternity house Shiki Yoya and others to the residential area of the Faith family, and arranged a place for everyone to live. It has to be said that the residence of the He Faith Tas family is really huge, and there are many rooms to live in. Li Yiming deliberately arranged the residences of all the people together, and Hestia's bedroom was also very close, so a small family of the family was formed. That's all for now, Yeaze. Tomorrow I will take you to visit Olelai personally, and I will go to the god of medicine, Mihi, to ask about the solution to your and Mr. Zayaman's health. I believe it depends on Hes. For the face of God Tia, God K, he should not reject us. Ah, I'm really sorry for your trouble, Kazuki. Yubayashiki Yoya showed sincere gratitude on his face. The man in front of me not only turned out to solve the 1,000-year enmity between the Yubayashiki clan and Anime Tsuji, but also brought them to Orari and joined them under the command of the gods. This kindness is really hard to describe in words, really it can be said to be as heavy as a mountain. To be honest, Yoya Yubayashiki no longer knows how to repay him. Maybe we can only consider this matter when we have enough ability in the future. You're welcome, we will be an alliance in the future, let's work hard together, I won't bother you, rest early, and digest it well, let's go first. After waving to everyone, Li Yiming turned around and left. He returned to Faith's room along the way he had come. The others could rest, but he couldn't do it. After all, he still had to tell stories to the two gods. Sure enough, exposing the existence of another world will bring endless troubles. However, this feeling is actually not bad. Looking at the back of Li Yiming's departure, all the people behind, led by Yoyashiki, bowed at 90 degrees and solemnly expressed their gratitude. Boom boom boom. My lord, I'm back. The door is unlocked, come in. The familiar dialogue sounded again, and Li Yiming opened the door familiarly and entered. He Faith and Hestia were sitting on the head of the bed, almost touching each other. The scene in front of him suddenly made Li Yiming feel a little confused. It's really a story, isn't it? You are sitting comfortably on the bed, and he is telling stories vividly below, and he may stand up and perform occasionally, why not? For a moment, Li Yiming even wanted to slam the door straight out. But when he thought of the ashen cheeks of his lord Shang Shen, and Chun's stick education, he finally chose Kangxin. Isn't it just telling stories, just tell it. Back. Is everyone else in order? It's already been arranged. I've arranged all of their rooms together. Among them, Yeya and the others are closer to the room of God Hestia. Thank you for your hard work, hurry up and sit down. Well, Li Yiming nodded lightly, and subconsciously took a step forward, but suddenly he realized what Faith said just now, and stopped in an instant, with a surprised expression on his face. Huh. You heard me right. Since it's an experience in a different world, I can't finish it in a short time. It's impossible for me to let you sit on a chair and suffer from the cold and have fun. But God Hestia. To be honest, Li Yiming did have some intentions, but he didn't act so quickly. Not everyone can get the favor of a goddess, but facing two goddesses at the same time, it may not be a favor, but a burden. So before that, we must speak clearly. What are you thinking? It's just normal storytelling, it's not what you think in your head. 17. He Faith rolled her eyes angrily, and Hestia on the side also echoed her words. That's right, Yiming-kun, although I quite like you, it's not so easy to get the favor of the gods. After all, neither Faith nor I are random gods. Sorry, I misunderstood. With a slightly embarrassed expression, Li Yiming could only scratch his head, pulled back the quilt and sat on it. However, with the previous conversation, his attitude became a little more cautious, and he sat at the other end of the big bed with a certain distance from the two goddesses. In this regard, the two goddesses looked at each other with indescribable smiles in their eyes. It's so much fun to tease this kid. Cough, then what, Lord God, God Hestia, then I will start directly. Well, let's get started, we can't wait for the experience in the different world. When it came to the business, the two gods obviously became looking forward to it. Taking a deep breath, Li Yiming didn't continue to be vague. Although being in the same room with the two goddesses in the middle of the night was very exciting for a boy like him, he was still able to endure it forcibly and completely focused on the next description. The ghost-killing team, the man-eating ghosts, everything is so novel. Li Yiming seems to have a certain talent for storytelling. Under his vivid description, the two well-informed goddesses quickly fell into it, and the picture of the world of Ghost Slayer, Blade instantly formed in his mind, including the fight scenes are spot on. Hearing that there are no gods in another world, but there are creatures like ghosts, the two goddesses frowned slightly. And when they heard the appearance of the ghost-killing team fighting all kinds of evil spirits with human bodies, the expressions of the two goddesses changed again and again, which completely fits the biographies of the characters in this world. In ancient times, before the gods had no lower realms, didn't there exist similar heroes? Relying on their own physique, they fought against the monsters in the dungeon and protected the continuation of mankind. This kind of story development is really wonderful. Hestia had a look of surprise on her face. He really didn't expect that the few children he recruited were the existences who had accomplished heroic deeds. Although the evil spirits were not as good as the monsters in the dungeon, they were already very good for humans. How lucky, thanks to Mr. Yiming. Thinking of this, Hestia's impression of Li Yiming is even better. Her faith, on the other hand, was completely different. Although she liked the so-called heroic deeds very much, other things in Li Yiming's words obviously made her more interested. After talking about the ghost-killing team and ghosts, they began to tell the history again. It is completely different from the development of Eulalie, but the same wonderful history still fascinates Hefaith and Hestia. The different world is really interesting. Although Li Yiming's mouth was parched, seeing that the two goddesses were so interested, he didn't choose to disappoint the fun at this time, so he continued to talk. Unknowingly, the time has come to the middle of the night. The magic stone lamps on the wall kept flickering, embellishing everything in the room with vitality. There was only Li Yiming's voice left in the room, which was very obvious at night, but then it became smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. Chapter 83 Gunara, the God of Darkness, Woohoo, Transformation of the Dark Demon, monthly ticket plus subscription required. The next day, bright sunlight poured into the house. Li Yiming woke up from his sleep, and wanted to turn over as usual, but he felt something strange in his body, as if a heavy object like a ghost press was pressing him tightly, and he couldn't move at all. He opened his eyes subconsciously, and his sight was instantly filled with two heads of small size. One black and one red hair color imprinted in his eyes, which made him wake up just now, lacking a sense of being a little confused. His eyes were wide open, and he almost moved subconsciously. Fortunately, it stopped in the end, which saved it from a disaster. But even so, he was fully awake at the moment, and realized what kind of situation he was in. Lying flat on the bed, Li Yiming was in a daze. He stared straight at the ceiling, thinking about how to solve the situation in front of him, trying to pull his arm out, but he couldn't do it at all. If the strength is a little bit stronger, it is afraid that Hefaith or Hestia will be awakened. So how do you get out now? For the current situation, Li Yiming felt very distressed. Although not everyone is blessed to share the bed with the goddess, if it is not the initiative, then it is not lucky. If the two goddesses wake up and turn against each other, he can't bear this kind of anger. For a moment, Li Yiming became decadent. Tired, destroy it? At this moment, a faint murmur suddenly came from the right side, which made Li Yiming, who was thinking wildly, quickly close his eyes and pretend that he hadn't woken up yet. Since you haven't figured out how to face the situation, you can choose to pretend you don't know. It turns out that this option is indeed a good solution. Where am I? It doesn't seem to be my room. Why does this bed feel so hard? Hestia woke up and turned around, leaning on her body with her left hand to stand up, gently rubbing her eyes with her right hand, her messy long hair scattered. She looked quite cute when she woke up. Eh? What's the situation? Hestia, who was slightly awake, opened her eyes, and instantly saw Li Yiming and He Faith next to her. The latter was still curled up in Li Yiming's arms. After what he did just now, the rosy color covered the cheeks of this lowly goddess. He hurriedly looked at his clothes. Although they looked a little messy, they were still intact, which undoubtedly made Hestia breathe a sigh of relief. However, what happened today still had a huge impact on this virgin goddess. Hestia bit her lips lightly, glared at Li Yiming with a blushing face, then hurriedly arranged her clothes, put on her shoes lightly, and left the room as if fleeing. Hearing the closing sound of the door next to his ear, Li Yiming slowly breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. However, the voice that sounded the next moment made him nervous again. Hestia is gone, how long are you going to pretend? Faith stood up slowly, rubbing her hair, her expression full of helplessness. She didn't expect that things would turn out like this. Although there was no substantial breakthrough last night, sharing the same bed with the opposite S*X had already had a huge impact on both her and Hestia. Hestia is not the only virgin goddess, in fact, Hestia is also. After all, the prototype of the red-haired goddess is a man, and because of the eyes, no man is willing to show love to her, so she has been single until now. Sleeping with a man like this is something I couldn't even think about before. Li Yiming seemed to be about to make a final struggle, but was interrupted by Goddess Faith's slap on the chest. There was no way, he could only slowly open his eyes. His expression was very awkward, he could only forcefully relieve it with a smile. Master Shangshen, good morning, when did you wake up? When you woke up, I was already awake. The voice of the red-haired goddess is full of ethereal, people cannot hear too much emotion. However, those straight eyes and slightly rosy cheeks were telling her that she was not at peace now, as if she wanted to swallow Li Yiming alive. I'm sorry, Lord God, I didn't do it on purpose. I fell asleep for some reason last night. I offended you and God Hestia. I'm really sorry, but as a man, I won't escape, and I will be responsible to the end. I will work hard to become stronger and strive to be worthy of you and God Hestia. Li Yiming's eyes and words were full of firmness, and he said this sentence almost firmly. Although he once fantasized about opening a big harem, no matter in his previous life or his current life after time travel, he is just a virgin through and through. When has he ever experienced such a thing? He can only deal with it based on similar stories he has seen before. Snapped. Ah! The expected happiness did not appear. Li Yiming hugged his head and cried out in pain. He once again experienced the tremendous strength of Goddess Faith. Already not inferior to third-level adventurers, she deserves to be the goddess of forging. What beautiful things are you thinking about, kid? Let's not say that nothing happened last night. Even if it happened, it would not develop as far as you thought. Do you think the favor of the gods is so good? And you have to hug left and right. I really didn't expect your thoughts to be so impure. I didn't mean that, Lord Shangshen. Okay, Yiming, I'm just joking. Interrupting Li Yiming's words, Faith's expression became serious. Although this kind of thing happened today, I don't want to affect you for the future. The most important thing now is to become stronger. With the ability to travel to other worlds, you will be coveted by countless gods in the future. If you don't have enough power, then your future will definitely not be under your control. I know you like Hestia, but no matter for yourself, for Hestia, or for me, you must put other things aside and concentrate on improving your strength. In addition, if you really get together with Hestia, then you must also remember that you must never deceive the feelings of the gods, and you will be cursed by the gods. Do you understand? The earnest words made Li Yiming stunned in place. Of course he could tell that her faith was doing it for his own good, and at the same time was really thinking about him. I understand, Lord God, I will not slow down the improvement of my ability value, and I will not leave the faith familia. No matter who puts forward any conditions, I will only have one answer. I'm really happy to hear you say that, so try to let me see your results. Saying that, Faith straightened her body, patted Li Yiming's shoulder and said, "Okay, take off your shirt and turn around and get down on the ground. You are the only one who didn't update your ability value yesterday. There are powerful evil spirits in Connie's world, so you should have accumulated enough stats." Being able to witness the appearance of the fastest leveling adventurer, as your god, I am really honored. I have forgotten it myself. If that's the case, then I will ask you, Lord God. After being reminded by Goddess Faith, Li Yiming remembered the matter of updating her ability value. There were too many things yesterday, so she was too busy to forget. I don't know how far he has reached. Really looking forward to it. Taking off his shirt full of anticipation, Li Yiming got down on the ground, waiting for the update to start. It's just that at a position he couldn't see, seeing Faith, who had been completely fooled, heaved a long sigh of relief silently. His face became more rosy, and his sight was also full of inexplicable taste. It can be seen that this red-haired goddess is far less relaxed than she said. Taking a deep breath, forcing down the strangeness in her heart, Faith took out a needle from the bedside cabinet and lightly pricked her finger. The divine blood fell, and the blue sacred text emerged again. In Heto's line of sight, the sacred text was beating crazily, and the ability value belonging to Li Yiming also began to increase continuously, and the speed almost reached the point of insanity. No one's value has ever increased so quickly. To be honest, Faith, who had been mentally prepared for a long time, was still full of surprise at this time. But recalling Li Yiming's previous 2 ability updates, he soon felt relieved. I believe that no one will believe it if I tell it. There are actually some adventurers who can reach the point where they are today on the premise of only updating their ability values twice. Then again, it seems that Li Yiming has been a risk taker for less than a month. This growth rate is really monstrous. With a terrifying growth rate, a large number of rare skills, and the ability to open the door to another world, as expected, he is definitely a human being that surpasses all previous heroes. How lucky to be the Lord God of such a child. Thinking of this, Faith's eyes overflowed with light, and the corners of his lips slightly curved. The charm of a goddess bloomed vividly at this moment, but it was a pity that no one could appreciate it. Li Yiming. LV.1. Strength, A813 rightward arrow SSS1283 durability, A888 rightward arrow SSS1107 delicacy, B765 rightward arrow SS1087 agility, B718 rightward arrow SSS1199 magic, D587 rightward arrow S999. Development ability. Forging B. Magic. Mole of Love D. Use the magic mole to charm the opposite S*X. Women who come face to face with him will have strong loving feelings towards him. Perfect mimicry. Transformation magic. Completely change appearance, including height, body shape, age, gender, smell, etc., and ethnic characteristics can also be imitated. Singing language, Gunara, god of darkness, Woohoo, transformation of the dark demon. Skill. Almighty man. Sometimes can get unexpected improvement. Transparent world. Conceal your grudge. The ability to predict actions and dodge attacks will be greatly improved. Able to see the opponent's anatomy and weaknesses. Breath of the Sun. Enhance physical ability. Slash can carry the terrifying solar fire. Ask for flowers. Increased damage to evil enemies. When fighting with evil enemies, the full ability is greatly increased. Zebra. Increase heart rate and oxygen supply capacity, greatly enhance combat ability. Able to help recognized people to open stripes. Brave Sea. Annihilate mental interference such as coercion, confusion, and confusion. Basic attributes are doubled during the battle. Kenshin Transparency. When equipped with a sword, swords and swords are not separated in this article, there will be a temporary additional development ability Swordsman. The level of understanding of sword skills has been greatly improved. Can communicate with the blade in the hand. Effects are graded. Promote. Spearman Genius. When equipped with a long spear, it will temporarily add the development ability Lanceman. The level of comprehension of gun skills is moderately improved. Effect increases according to level. This is too exaggerated. The pupils of Goddess Faith, who has always been calm, shrank suddenly. She was speechless when she saw the value in front of her. She had never seen a value that exceeded the upper limit of the ability value of an adventurer. What is this, breaking the limits of human beings? Even the lowest magic power has reached the limit value of an adventurer, not to mention the other 4 items. In addition, there are 2 more magic skills, each of which is very rare, and other adventurers can't ask for it. Why is it like this when I come to Li Yiming? How easy is it? Yiming, you are really a monster. When saying this, her faith's eyes were full of complexity. I'm going to be a god, you are praising me. Li Yiming smiled slightly lying on the bed, listening to the goddess Faith telling her ability value in her ear, her face. There was also a look of joy on his face. 0, 0. I didn't expect to get such a big benefit from playing the weekend ghost dance Tsuji. The real-life simulation is really worthwhile. Yiming, you can upgrade already, do you want to upgrade? Faith, who had finally regained consciousness, felt something, and asked Li Yiming. In fact, she thinks it's okay. Well, I think it's okay. Although only the magic power has not broken through the limit, it seems a little uncomfortable, but it should not be able to brush up. Continue to stay at LV.1. There is no need for this at all, but it will waste time, so upgrade it. If other adventurers hear your words, they will feel inferior and want to commit suicide. Since accepting Li Yiming, her faith has also started to complain, mainly because this guy in front of him always likes to do some shocking things, and then pretending to be as it should be. Her cognition as a god has been broken again and again, and her face as a god is almost lost. So, having such an overly outstanding child may not be a good thing sometimes. The sound in the room disappeared completely, leaving only the hands of Goddess Hitos groping Li Yiming's back and the sound of the heart beating evenly. Suddenly, Faith's hand stopped. Okay. Faith patted Li Yiming's back and signaled him to stand up. This is the situation after you upgrade. To my surprise, there are no new skills or magic, but in the area of development ability, there is only one abnormal resistance to choose, so I presume to help you choose. It's really helpful, Lord Shangshen. Li Yiming expressed his thanks from the bottom of his heart, and then accepted the recording paper with his own ability value printed on it. The situation is generally the same as he imagined. All the abilities he has obtained so far are all recorded on it. Although there are no new skills or magic, it is a little confusing. Disappointed, but he quickly came to his senses. The skills he has now are enough for the time being. However, when his eyes fell on the magic of perfect mimicry, his whole face suddenly darkened. God damn Meow's chance, what the hell is this? Which man can say such a shameful spell in public? If I really do this, I am afraid that in the future my title will become some kind of horse monkey shakubar. When I think about going out in the future, I will be pointed at by others, saying, "Look, that is the senior adventurer of the faith family, Mahashayaju." Just thinking about it? Chilling. Oh, are you looking at that new magic? Noticing Li Yiming's gaze, He Faith's expression also became playful. It's indeed a very interesting chant, but I didn't expect that Yiming you would have such. What a girlish time. That's not true, Lord Shangshen, please stop joking, I will never use this magic. Li Yiming quickly refuted with a blushing face. However, just looking at the disapproving eyes of Goddess Faith Hidos, he knew very well that his defense was useless at all. Okay, I've already locked your ability value for you, and it's getting late, you should take your friends to visit Oleli. Hurry up, come back early at night, let's go and have a good time celebrate. Understood, Lord Shangshen, then I'll go first. 6. Chapter 84 Who is a decent person wearing women's clothes? Hestia's desire to express. Thanks to Chen for the monthly pass. Fleeing out of the room of Goddess Faith in haste, Li Yiming is still brooding over his new magic. Although the Black Magic Fairy's transformation spell was very interesting when he was young, and he tried it a few times when there was no one around, but now he is at this age, and the time for it to be fun has long passed. Now there is only endless shame left, a big man becomes a magic fairy? What a system! However, the magic that even other races can simulate at will is really exciting. Maybe it can perfectly simulate women's clothing. No, it is simply the source of evil. This magic is absolutely impossible for me to use, absolutely. The more and more outrageous thoughts that appeared in his mind made Li Yiming shake his head quickly. In order to stop himself from thinking wildly, he quickly quickened his pace and walked towards the room of Yayashiki and others. There are many things today, if possible, it is best to take them into the dungeon to see. Now that he has become an adventurer, it is also necessary to enter the dungeon to explore. After all, he is the person he brought over, so the after-sales service problem must naturally be solved. He knocked lightly on the door and waited for a while, but there was no response at all. Did you wake up and go to eat? With this thought in mind, Li Yiming turned around and walked towards the restaurant. He passed by the restaurant yesterday when he took everyone to their respective rooms, so he naturally didn't forget to introduce it to everyone. Quickly shuttled through the corridor, and soon came to the restaurant. Just as he thought, Yabayashiki and others had already gathered in the dining room, and there was Hestia at the same time. Yo, gorgeous boy, you are finally here. Yusui Tianyuan, who was showing off his breakfast, saw his existence immediately, and there was still a lot of food inside, so he raised his hand to say hello. With such skill, other people in the restaurant noticed the arrival of Li Yiming's 3. Good morning, Kazuna. Yabayashiki Yaya was as gentle as ever, judging from his rosy cheeks, he should have had a good rest last night. Good morning everyone, did you sleep well last night? Walking into the restaurant naturally, Li Yiming was preparing to make breakfast. Suddenly, a plate full of food was handed to him, and when he turned his head, what caught his eyes was the sweet smile of Kamado Nezuko. Yiming big brother, this is the breakfast prepared by Connie and I, let's try it? Thank you, Nezuko. Looking at the innocent and lovely little Nezuko in front of her, Li Yiming involuntarily reached out and rubbed her head. The girl showed a look of enjoyment like a cat. It's so cute. Li Yiming took the plate and sat down, and began to taste the food. The moment he entered the mouth, his eyes lit up instantly, not to mention, the taste is really good, it can be called delicious, it's really a skillful handicraft. Good to eat? Hey, as long as Yiming big brother likes it. Received affirmative praise, Kamado Nezuko's whole face suddenly burst into smiles. By the way, Yiming, we went to your room to look for you earlier, but you were not in the room. Did you go somewhere so early? Could it be morning exercise? Butterfly Chana Hui beside her suddenly opened her mouth, almost choking Ji Yiming who was already feasting. At the same time, Hestia, who was hiding in the corner to show off her food, froze slightly when she heard these words. Their eyes met, and then dodged subconsciously. Then what? I woke up a little early this morning, so I went out for a morning run. Is that so? Butterfly Chana Hui tilted her head, as if she wanted to say something else. Li Yiming hurriedly interrupted, these are not important, let's eat quickly, and I will take you out for a stroll after eating. Stia has to register as a family member, and you also have to register as adventurers. Besides, I have to take Yaze and Mr. Zayaman to God Mihi. If there is enough time, I want to take you to the dungeon. Today is very busy, so hurry up. Hearing Li Yiming's words, other people's attention was instantly diverted. Butterfly Chana Hui didn't worry about Li Yiming's whereabouts in the morning, and speeded up her meal. Seeing this, both Li Yiming and Hestia couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. At least this kind of thing would not be known to others. After a simple breakfast, all the people were ready to go. Under Liz's shocked eyes, a group of more than a dozen people, including the goddess Hestia, left the residence of the Faith family and came to the street of Olele. This strange world instantly attracted the attention of everyone except Li Yiming and Hestia. Wow! This is too powerful. People who were supposed to have seen the world before, now it seemed that Grandmalu had entered the Grand View Garden, and there was an obvious sound of exclamation in an instant. The architectural style of Orario is completely different from the neon lights where the ghost killing squad is located, so everyone feels very novel, just like Li Yiming who came to Orari for the first time. In fact, almost all human beings who came to Olele for the first time would almost sigh the same. This is probably the center of the world, the charm of the labyrinth city Orario. Don't be surprised, there are more things waiting for you to explore, let's go ahead. Everyone's reaction made Li Yiming and Hestia smile subconsciously, and at the same time, they felt a sense of accomplishment in their hearts. This kind of hot gaze is really unstoppable. Under the leadership of the two, a group of people walked on the street without haste. All kinds of people around made everyone feel amazed, especially when they saw Amazons, orcs, and elf adventurers. The look of astonishment reappeared. Among them, the reactions of Kamado Tanjiro and Kamado Nezuko are the most obvious, but the two little guys are obviously not the kind of overly active people, so they will not do things that are too rude, but their eyes are shining. The state of mouth opening will still appear. God Hestia, it's up to you to explain it to them. Li Yiming's words aroused Hestia's reaction. The smile on the face of this lowly goddess instantly subsided, and her cheeks suddenly became rosy again. But when she saw everyone's eyes coming together, she cheered up again. I know, leave it to me. After taking a deep breath and barely suppressing the abnormality in her heart, Hestia began to explain everything about Olele, which is the basic situation that newcomers need to know. Hey, have you seen that tower? The name of that tower is the Tower of Babel. Thousands of years ago, the Tower of Babel did not exist. At that time, even Olele did not exist. The lower world was in a very chaotic era, and a large number of monsters emerged from the dungeon. Came out and launched an attack on the humans on the surface. Uranus, the first god in the lower realm, brought the god's grace to help the children in the lower realm successfully resist the invasion of monsters. At the same time, he suppressed the dungeon with powerful divine power and prevented the monsters from coming to the ground. In the end, Uranus and the human heroes built the Tower of Babel to suppress the underground labyrinth. At the same time, he also built a prototype fortress city of Orario around the Tower of Babel. He always pays attention to the situation of monsters. After thousands of years of development, it has evolved into today's Olele. Although Hestia's tone was flat, Huayashia and the others could hear the grandeur from her description. To be able to build such a majestic tower and at the same time suppress the monsters on the surface, how much divine power is needed? The god Uranus is truly admirable. I have had the honor to read the records about the god Uranus, the legendary god of the sky, the king of the gods. I really want to see his demeanor. He must have a very stalwart figure. The words of the well-informed Yasuo Yabayashiki are full of longing, but more regrettable. How can a mortal expect to meet the gods? Is that how you describe Uranus? Hestia blinked, slightly surprised. Uranus is indeed the god of the sky, but the king of the gods, it is a bit exaggerated, although Uranus is indeed a very ancient god. However, the other party seems to have nothing to do with Wayan. Recalling the image of Uranus in her mind, Hestia quickly shook her head. Well, about Uranus, let's talk slowly when we have a chance. Now, I want to tell you about the god's grace. Has Mr. Yiming told you about it? Facing Hestia's questioning, everyone shook their heads in confusion. They came to Oleli in a daze, and became adventurers in a daze. The only thing they know is that there are a lot of gods here, but they don't know anything about other things. We really don't know, so please enlighten me, Lord Shangshen. Okay then, let me introduce you from the beginning. Hestia didn't feel troubled, on the contrary, she was very excited. It was her first time to establish a family, and these people in front of her were also her first batch of family members, so it was full of novelty. This lowly goddess can't wait to experience the sense of accomplishment of owning a family. First of all, God's grace is the power of all gods, and its purpose is to help adventurers develop their physical potential. Simply put, it is just an accelerator. The gods believe that human beings have infinite possibilities, so we seal the power of the gods and come to the lower realms, establish family members to bestow favors, but not directly grant power. All adventurers who want to become stronger can only rely on their own efforts. The power of the gods is very unrealistic. The more she talked, the more she wanted to express herself. Hestia raised her green fingers and waved them lightly. There are several columns in God's grace. The first thing to talk about is the basic ability value, which is the value of the 5 items you have seen before: strength, durability, dexterity, agility and magic power. This is the God's grace that embodies your body functions in numerical form. The advantage of this is that it is more convenient, and you can know your specific strengths and weaknesses, so that you can carry out targeted special training. And the value of each basic ability is subdivided into Sabdivki, which is a stage. Correspondingly, it is from 1 to 999. Every 100 points is divided into a level. The higher the value, the higher your ability will be. The more reinforcements you get. When one of your stats reaches D and you complete enough great achievements are what you get when you challenge a goal stronger than yourself and win. When you have enough great achievements, you can upgrade. After upgrading, it can often be called evolution. It is difficult for ordinary LV.1 level adventurers to beat LV.2 level, but your words are not necessarily true. After all, you have undergone rigorous training before, and your strength stronger than many adventurers. In addition, there may be skills or even magic when leveling up, so high-level adventurers, no matter where they come from, on the face of it, they all have absolute advantages. That's about it. Is there anything else I need to ask? After finishing speaking, Hestia showed an expectant expression. For this day, she made up for the knowledge about family members and adventurers not long ago. It was because she couldn't find a suitable candidate before, but now it finally came in handy. We probably understand that the gods are really merciful, but they also don't forget to be strict. Butterfly Connie sighed softly. This kind of behavior that gives people the possibility to become stronger, but does not give it directly, is really amazing. And it's really exciting to think that there are so many ways for adventurers. However, Hestia probably only knows this knowledge, and the information about the dungeon will probably have to wait until Li Yiming personally imparts it later. Here we are. This is the Adventurers Guild, which is also an organization established by Uranus to provide various services for adventurers. Are Hestia familiars? You need to come here for the establishment and registration of your adventurers. Similarly, when you get magic stones from the dungeon, you also need to get them here for exchange. Along the way, Hestia's desire to express is quite strong. Probably because the family is about to be established, so she is very excited. It will be fine in a few days. Let's go in quickly, the Hestia family is about to be established. Goddess Loli shouted excitedly, which also attracted the attention of many adventurers around. The large number of sights really made people feel scalp tingling. Fortunately, the attention of these adventurers quickly dissipated. It's not the first time they have seen this kind of scene. After watching the scene for a short time, they will continue with their own business. Led by Hestia and Li Yiming, the group quickly entered the Adventurers Guild, and were instantly attracted by the magnificent decoration inside. As the facade of adventurers, this place has a natural and majestic appearance. And the morning is the time when adventurers start to act collectively. The adventurers who come and go are crowded in the guild hall that can accommodate thousands of people, and some of them come to enter the underground. The preparations for the city, but more to investigate intelligence. The guild will generally record the major events that happened in the past few days, especially the new information about the dungeon, on the parchment scroll, and stick it on the notice board on the guild wall to warn of adventurers. This group of people who live in the dungeon will naturally not make fun of their own lives. Information is very important to them in 2.3, so many adventurers will be there early. Before entering the dungeon, Chen came to the guild to confirm the latest information. If they find out that there is a monster feast, most people will probably give up the idea of entering the dungeon, and wait a few days before entering. This is not fear of death, but the safest way. Because of the existence of Hestia, all adventurers can recognize her as a god, so all of them gave way tacitly and came to the adventurer without hindrance. At the window of the Riskers Guild. The staff of the Adventurers Guild are not particularly busy at this time, so there are still a few staff left in the window. It just so happened that the person sitting in the window was actually an old acquaintance. Hey, Miss Misha, good morning. Li Jun, good morning, are you going to enter the dungeon? After seeing Li Yiming, Misha, who had a serious face, suddenly fell into endless joy, and his eyes began to sparkle. Butterfly Connie on the side frowned slightly, as if she had noticed something. However, Li Yiming didn't notice her movements, and was still talking to Misha with a smile on his face. It's not about entering the dungeon, the family has added a few newcomers recently, so didn't I bring them to register as adventurers. In addition, the person next to me is God Hestia, who is a good friend with my Lord God, and she also wants to register as a family member. Miss Me, is it convenient for you now? Master God. Following Li Yiming's hand, Miss He saw the existence of Hestia, and hurriedly saluted, I have time now, please come with me, my lord, I will handle it for you. Matters related to the establishment of the family. Then I will trouble you, Miss Clerk. Hestia nodded, and followed Misha with everyone into a conference room. Chapter 85 God of Medicine Mihi, about treatment. Misha's attitude is unusually respectful, probably because of Hestia. The registration procedures for newborn family members are not complicated. Rather, the process is quite simple. You only need to fill out a form under the guidance of the guild staff, and this thing will be left in the Adventurer Guild headquarters for filing. In addition, as the main god of the family, Hestia also needs to design a family badge. Due to Li Yiming's intervention, Belle Cranel's rabbit has not come to Orario, and Hestia has already established her family in advance, so it is impossible for the family emblem to be flame plus big clock, but turned into a hearth bathed in flames. This is probably the symbol of Hestia as the kitchen god. After doing all this, with the help of Misha, Everyone registered the adventurer information. This is like an ID card, and it also means that everyone has completely settled in Olari. Great, everyone, we will be family from now on, let's work hard together for the family. Oh! Different from Hestia's excitement, although Yoyayubayashiki and the others were happy, they were not so exaggerated. They just showed a little joy on their faces and responded softly in a symbolic voice. Then, God Hestia, do you need information about the dungeon and equipment for newcomers? Although he had already seen the Japanese sabers on the backs of Yuzui Tianyuan and others, out of professional habits, Izuma still asked. This. Hestia, who was still in a state of excitement, suddenly became sluggish, with a look of hesitation on her delicate cheeks. She has just established a family, and she doesn't know anything about adventurers at all. Whether it's information about the dungeon, or newcomer adventurer equipment, it's completely impossible to provide. With all due respect, God Hestia, although many of your followers have weapons, dungeons are very dangerous. A set of excellent armor will save the lives of adventurers in many cases. Information about dungeons, the Adventurers Guild provides it for free, but the equipment for newcomers needs to be charged. But don't worry, the price is not expensive, and the fee will not be charged immediately. We will provide it first, and the fee will not be charged until the newcomers earn enough fare, so you don't have to worry about the price at all. The girl's words were full of kindness. Even if she heard them face to face, she wouldn't feel the slightest embarrassment. Obviously, Miss Ha probably saw Hestia's situation, so she explained patiently. After all, the Hes 19 Tia family really has no money. At least this lowly goddess really thinks so. After hearing Miss Ha's recommendation, Hestia was really moved. Compared with the cost, she paid more attention to the safety of her own children. Anyway, you don't need to pay now, so you can do it yourself. Okay then, I'll trouble the clerk to help us prepare. Please wait a moment, God Hestia. Before Hestia could finish speaking, Li Yiming stretched out his hand to hold her arm. Miss Ha, newcomer equipment is unnecessary, if so, please get a few more copies of the map of the dungeon. You also know that I joined the He Faith family. The relationship between my Lord God and God Hestia is not bad, and I am also friends with them. The equipment problem can be solved by myself. I see, Li Jun, you have grown a lot. I know. Miss Ha nodded with a clear expression, then turned and left the room. After a while, she held a thick picture book in front of everyone again, and then handed the picture book to Hestia with her own hands. God Hestia, this is the specific information of all the monsters known in the dungeon, including various attack characteristics and attack methods. I also placed a few maps of the upper level of the dungeon in it. You can take them back, watch it carefully, but please return it after 2 weeks. Huh? This kind of book should not be allowed out of the Adventurers Guild, right? Although Hestia is still a novice who doesn't understand anything, she naturally knows the preciousness of the book in front of her, and it shouldn't be possible for a small guild employee to rent it out. Li Yiming's gaze also became serious. Sure enough, when his and Miss Ha's eyes met, the girl's eyes flickered with hesitation and worry, but soon became decisive, and he suddenly understood something. This human girl is really kind to her. She should be doing this for her own sake. Miss Ha, thank you for the map, but there is no need for the monster atlas. The Faith family has experienced adventurers to guide them. I will also take them into the dungeon at the beginning. In addition, please do not, if I do this kind of thing again, I don't want to affect your work, Miss Ha, because of my own affairs. Reaching out to pick up the album in Hestia's hand, Li Yiming took out the map, and then put the album back on Miss Ha's master. This made Miss Ha froze in place for an instant. As if afraid of her thinking too much, Li Yiming explained with a smile, but I still want to thank Miss Xia for your kindness, so as a return, I would like to treat you to a meal when I have time next time to express my gratitude, and please be sure to give it a treat. Li Yiming's words obviously made Mi Xia feel overwhelmed. Is this inviting her on a date? It wasn't that no adventurers had sent invitations to her before, but they were all rejected by Miss He without exception, but now this boy's invitation made her cheeks flush and her heart beat. Should I agree directly, or be a little more reserved? Well, I'll save time. In the end, he couldn't help but agree. The matter was perfectly resolved, the Hestia family was established, and the adventurer information was registered, so Li Yiming did not stay too long, and left the Adventurers Guild with Hestia and others. Only a human girl with ruddy cheeks and moist eyes was left at the gate. Miss He didn't recover until their figures completely disappeared into the crowd. When are you going to see it again? Hurry up and help, today is a busy day, don't try to be lazy for me. Don't worry, Egina, I can't wait to devote myself to work. Ignoring his friend's ridicule, Mi Xia flexed the muscles on his arms, and then rushed into the hall with great vigor, rummaging through a large number of documents. Egina, who had a panoramic view of everything, couldn't help but shook her head, and was also very emotional. It was the first time she saw her good friend have such a reaction. Does that boy really have such magical power? Muttering to herself, Li Yiming's face appeared in Egina's mind. He was indeed more handsome than ordinary adventurers, and his friendly personality made it easy for people to like him. I really want to know what kind of charm the other party has that can turn Mi Xia into this appearance. Hey, Egina, hurry up and help. Got it, here we come. The crisp voice responded to the shouts from the hall, and Egina shook her head to look away, then trotted into her work with the documents in her arms. Li Yiming, who was already far away on the street, didn't know at all that there were two girls paying attention to him. After leaving the Adventurers Guild, under the leadership of Hestia, everyone walked in the direction of the Azure Pharmacy. Tianqing Pharmacy is the place where the family of the god of medicine is outstanding. The commercial family that was once the most prosperous in Orario was even able to compete with another commercial family, the Danmachi family, in its heyday. Pick up some leftovers. However, ever since Nazarix of the Mihi family was seriously injured in the middle of the dungeon, and even lost his right hand, the Mihi family has completely declined. It's not because Naza is the pillar of Mihi's family, but because God Mihi is very kind. He did not abandon Naza who lost his arm, but spent a lot of money to buy a newly developed prosthesis from the Danmachi family, which almost used up the family's savings, and even reached the point of debt. There is no doubt that this it also caused dissatisfaction among other members of the family. The number of Mihi family members who originally had a solid power has dropped sharply, and no one is willing to pay off debts for others. Now only the Mihi family members are left in the Naza district. Therefore, the Mihi family has changed from Olalai's backbone family to a small family. There was even one pharmacy that once opened all over Olalai, but now there is only one left, and because of the shortage of funds, it has been moved to a place like the end of Adventurer Avenue. It should be said that he is Hestia's god friend, and he is simply a difficult brother. There is also a Jianule family, who is also a representative of the poor god. The size of the family is not bad, but like the future Hestia, they are also clerks at the branch of the street vendor fried potato balls. From here, it can be seen how desolate these three gods are. However, they might also have fun. According to Hestia's narration, everyone probably understood what kind of god he is, especially when they heard that he was willing to dispose of the family's assets for the sake of his children. A sense of awe appeared in his heart almost at the same time. God is so worthy of respect. Soon, everyone came to a very old wooden store. As Li Yiming, who had seen the Danmachi family pharmacy before, and compared it with the Tianqing pharmacy in front of him, this huge gap really makes people feel desperate. It's hard to imagine that this place was really the residence of the middle family. On the beam of the door hung the badge of the family with healthy limbs. The area inside the pharmacy was not too big, and you could see the Kanban lady sitting behind the counter just by standing at the door. Brown hair, with a pair of brown ears, this is Nazayurin. The girl was wearing a blue and yellow dress. The left sleeve was short, but the right sleeve was very long, reaching almost to the wrist. Unlike the exposed white left arm, the right hand not only had a longer sleeve, but also wore a dark scarf on the palm. Brown gloves, the dress looks very different. This is probably also to cover up the reason for the right hand prosthesis. What do I need to buy? 1,000 to 50,000 mana for the healing potion, 15,000 to 60,000 mana for the potion, 2,000 to 100,000 for the spirit recovery potion, 3,000 to 100,000 for the antidote, and 600,000 for the potion. Hearing the sound of footsteps, Naza read out the price proficiently and formulaically without even raising her head. For it. Others probably don't know what this concept is, but they have learned about the prices of various potions, but it is obvious that the price that Naza said is much higher than the price sold by the Deankite family, so is this cheating consumers? This is already a black shop. Long time no see, Naza, we're not here to buy things, I'm here to look for Mihi. Is he at home? Oh, is it God Hestia? Naza, who was originally very lazy, suddenly got excited and stood up quickly. I'm very sorry, God Hestia, I was a little neglected. Master Shangshen is currently working in the studio inside. Buy the potion, I will call him for you, please wait a moment. Knowing that her god has a good relationship with Hestia, Naza naturally dare not neglect her. Then I will trouble you. Hestia nodded with a smile. Naza bowed slightly, and then planned to walk into the studio behind the pharmacy to convey the news to God Mihi, but just as she walked to the door, the naturally hanging curtain suddenly. When it was opened, a man with a very handsome appearance, no matter in appearance or temperament, came out like a nobleman. Although he was wearing very ordinary clothes, which looked like cheap cloth made up of one color, the similar sacred aura exuding from his body couldn't be faked. This is Mihi, the god of medicine. Hey, what kind of wind is it today that brought you here, Hestia? What can you do to find me? God Mihi patted Naza on the shoulder and brought her back to Hes. In front of Tia, he also noticed the people behind Hestia, with a slightly surprised expression on his face. Are these children your family? That's right, but not all of them, some of them are the children of Hetos's family. Now I have established the god of the family, he. In front of old friends, Hestia can be said to have completely released her nature. She directly pulled two little devils, Kamato Nezuko and Kamato Tanjiro, to 450. One was 8 years old and the other was 9 years old. They were not as tall as her, a lowly goddess. The three of them standing together is very joyful, and Hestia's own cuteness is more and more highlighted. Well, my baby is cute, isn't it? Well, congratulations, Hestia, you have finally realized your dream, not only established a family, but also have such an excellent child, and finally you don't have to be. Stores scolded. There was still a gentle smile on Mihi's face, and some only had blessings. However, his blunt words still froze the smile on Hestia's face slightly, and her expression began to become a little unnatural. It doesn't matter, I will be able to move out of faith soon, and I will never be disgusted by her again. Then I wish you all the best. By the way, you came to me in such a hurry, what's the matter? Ah yes, I almost forgot the business. Reminded by Mihi, Hestia remembered the purpose of this trip, not just to talk about this kind of thing, there are more important things to be done. Yaeze-kun, Tanjiro-kun, come here. Greeting Yashiki Yoya and Kamato Tanjiro to come to her side, Hestia introduced to Mihi, they are also my children, because of some minor physical problems. So I can only come to let you help to see if there is any way to solve it. It's the first time to meet you, Lord Mihi, it's a great honor to meet you. Yabayashiki Yoya and Kamato Tanjiro bowed to Mihi very respectfully and piously. As Neon people, they all have the highest respect for the gods. This can be seen from the number of shrines owned by Neon. Although the two of them didn't know which god Mihi was, but according to Hestia's description just now, they knew that it must be a god who was willing to disperse his property for the children of his family. Venerable gods. It's really energetic. You don't need to be too polite. Get up. Is this kind of clothing from the people of the Far East? Mihi's gaze stayed on Yuya Yabayashiki and Tanjiro Kamado, talking to himself, and then his expression suddenly became very serious. This is the trace left by the curse. It seems to have been lifted, but the body is still severely damaged, and it is far weaker than normal people. As for this child, his vitality is slowly decaying, and it has even been damaged to the root, which is very serious. Mihi didn't say some words. In his sight, at this speed, Kamato Tanjiro would not live for a few years. Similarly, Yuya Yabayashiki's vitality was also consumed due to the curse. Although the curse has been completely lifted now, it will still affect daily life and lifespan. For human beings, this is already difficult to cure, no wonder Hestia came to him for help. Human doctors can't cure such problems at all, because they are not diseases at all, but forces that tend to be on the mysterious side. Even now, he needs to create some magic. Drug assistance is required, but we are not 100% sure. Chapter 86. The plan has changed. Team of 8 enters the dungeon. Monthly ticket plus subscription required. Can you tell me what's going on? Although there was already a rough prediction, Mihi did not jump to conclusions, but asked. Yes, Lord Mihi, the situation is like this. Yuya Yabayashiki did not refuse, but simply described his situation in a concise manner. Of course, he did not mention things from a different world, because I didn't lie, and God Mihi didn't feel the slightest difference. After Yuya Yabayashiki described his own situation, Kamato Tanjiro followed immediately. Having roughly understood the basic situation of the two of them, Mihi also nodded lightly, his expression full of amazement. So that's the case. Although the curse from the family's crimes has been lifted, the body has been destroyed. Are there still side effects caused by skills? It's really unimaginable. What kind of skill is it that becomes such an important level of life force consumption? Mihi just sighed, but didn't have the idea to get to the bottom of it. However, the children of Hestia's family did let him see something different. As a medical god, he is also very interested in these strange phenomena. Is there still a possibility of healing? Hestia asked anxiously. The eyes of the other people around also showed a faint expectation. Isn't this one of the main reasons why they came to Olari to heal the bodies of Yashiki Yoya and Kamato Tanjiro? There is a chance, but it's troublesome. Mihi thought for a while, and said softly, it is not difficult to lift the curse. If you find the child of the Deancate family, that is, Aim T Zainare, when the curse has just started to occur, she will the high-level cure magic Dia Fertel can be easily solved without leaving sequelae. But it's a pity that you came a little late, the curse has already taken effect, and even the vitality has been greatly depleted, so the problem that needs to be solved now is exactly the same, that is, the replenishment of vitality. As for Mr. Zayaman, in addition to replenishing your vitality, you also need to exercise. If you guessed correctly, your skills have such terrible side effects because your body can't fully bear them. But when you become LV.2 level adventurers, even at LV.3, can resist the effects of skills. Even if there are still disadvantages, the recovery ability of the body at that time is enough to offset them, and similar situations will not happen again. The above. It should be said that he is worthy of being the god of medicine, even if the divine power is sealed, he still has a unique vision. In just a few words, he thoroughly understood the situation of Yuya Yabayashiki and Tanjiro Kamado, and gave corresponding solutions, which is completely incomparable to human doctors. For a moment, whether it was Yuya Yabayashiki or Tanjiro Kamado, hope shone in their eyes. If you can continue to live, I'm afraid no one wants to die. After all, they all still have their own family members who need to accompany them, at least they also want to see their children grow up, have successful careers, get married, and have children. At that time, they will probably have no regrets. God me, what exactly is the method of replenishing vitality? Li Yiming asked calmly. This is the most important thing. If there is no way to do it, then everything before is all empty talk. Fortunately, since he raised this topic, there must be a solution. Potions that replenish vitality are very precious, and the production process is also very troublesome, but for the sake of Hestia, as long as you can collect the corresponding materials, I can help make them. Really? Then what materials do you need, Keishin? Yusui Tianyuan, who was silent at the side, finally couldn't hold back, and asked a little impatiently, but both his words and his attitude were slightly offensive, and Naza frowned indistinctly. Fortunately, the mild-mannered god he didn't care about the other party's offense. The horns of a sword-horned deer, the scale powder of a poisonous moth, the sap of a dark poisonous mushroom, the shell of a crystal tortoise, the feathers of a firebird, the poisonous sting of a deadly wasp, the wings of a dragonfly, the blood of a giant devil mosquito, the claws of a lizard man and earth-born human bones. A lot of material blurted out from Mihi's mouth. But as each sentence fell, the corners of Li Yiming's mouth began to twitch uncontrollably. Except for the poisonous moth, the others are basically middle-level monsters, and some are even LV.3 level monsters. But not so easy to get. Earthborn is an adventurer comparable to LV.4 level, and there will definitely be more than one monster to face at that time. Judging from the current situation, there is no way to go that far. Even with Tsubaki's help, with just one LV.5, I'm still not fully sure. This shows how precious the magic potion that replenishes vitality is. However, the others obviously didn't realize the seriousness of the problem. After God he told all the required materials, the guys headed by Yuzui Tianyuan and Yi Xiaobane all showed firm gazes on their faces. In that case, hurry up and bring these things back. It seems like I'm going to enter the dungeon, right? I've already memorized these materials. My lord, please wait for a while, we will find the things successfully. The two men with diametrically opposite personalities geared up for a while, and directly planned to go in the direction of the Tower of Babel. Hey, calm down, those things that God he said are not so easy to get. With our current strength, it is impossible to go to such a deep floor. Think about it first. Li Yiming's helpless words made everyone stop. Noticing everyone's gaze, he could only speak again. Those materials can only be dropped by middle-level monsters, and some of them are even comparable to LV miserable and stronger. Do you think we are opponents now?